Tommy Chong, and right now you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey, it was George Belfort, the real Wolf of Wall Street, and you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sean Danielson from Smile Empty Soul, and you are listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, it's Carol Baskin, and you are listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
This is Shirley Phelps-Roper with the Westboro Baptist Church, and you are listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
What's up? It's Tom from Plain White Tees, hanging out on the Anthony Rogers Show.
What's up, everyone? This is Rain from Our Lady Peace, and you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
I'm Baby No Money, and you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show, the best podcast.
This is Agent Sebastian of the Cartnarks, and you are listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
Brian Vanderark with the Verb Pipe here, and you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Here at Luxurious, we only use the best California pine trees around. Each woody oil and balm contains up to one whole tree. Did you know I hand-pick each and every pine cone myself and make it a point to find the older ones because, well, those are aged to perfection. Once the perfect tree is taken down and strategically stacked, it's on to phase 2. At this point, each pine is carefully cut into smaller and more manageable pieces. I mean, will you just look at that pile of select wood? From this stage, the BFS 9000 shreds the pines into an almost angel-soft fibrous material as shown here.
Here at Luxurious, we use quality ingredients and the freshest pine cones.
Get luxurious, my friends.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode. We have a couple giveaways. It's the Freeze Pipe Tornado. Brand new inbox. Bam. Give this away. So comment if you'd like a chance at winning this. And Google Freeze Pipe Tornado for more information on that one. And then we're also giving away the Freeze Pipe Mini Bong. So comment if you'd like a chance at winning this one. There's a mini bong that you basically put in your freezer and it cools the hit. So when you're watching this show, it gives you some more options. So check these out. We'll be giving these away on social media. So comment. I'm going to pick a random person to win either both of these or one of these or whatever I decide. So we'll figure it out. Thanks to Freeze Pipe for this giveaway.
Lawrence Maxwell Krauss is an American theoretical physicist and cosmologist who previously taught at Arizona State University, Yale University, and Case Western Reserve University. He founded ASU's Origins Project in 2008 to investigate the universe. Nikki Knightley, an internationally recognized porn star, adult actress, comedian, and psychic, has been in the adult entertainment industry since she was 20. Down-to-earth attitude and featured in numerous magazines and websites. Anthony Rogers is your best friend and favorite comedian in the entire universe. Check out his album Doing Stand-Up Comedy or YouTube special Sunburnt in Hawaii. Rogers is also the host of the show. And here's your host.
Welcome back to the greatest show in the entire universe. I'm in the middle of the woods, so sorry if this is iffy, but we have a great concept, probably one of the coolest concepts I've seen on podcasting. We have one of the, I think this guy's a Nobel Peace Prize. Like, is that true? You have a Nobel Peace Prize, Lawrence? Is that true?
No, a Peace Prize. No, I have. That's no. But some of the work I did led to the.
I read that wrong then.
No, it's some of the.
I read that wrong. This guy's a genius. So,
some of the work I did, anyway, doesn't matter. In physics. Yeah. I know.
Bam. And then legendary porn star Nikki Knightley. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Mic on? What is going on? But no, we brought some minds together. Like you wrote in a book, Lawrence, that actually like gave me this idea, talking about like the secrets of the cosmos, and I thought that was a cool concept, man. And and I felt like there's a lot of unanswered questions in that, you know. I feel like you should start off with
It's all about unanswered questions. Those are the most interesting questions. because it inspires us to try and learn. And the universe is full of mysteries, and that's one of the reasons I do science. But it's one of the reasons all of us should be excited every day. Mysteries solved every day. And even if you don't solve them, the trying is what makes it interesting.
What's like one of the most mind-blowing things you've learned from doing like science and learning about space?
Well, one of the most mind-blowing things is related to what the work I did that was referred to earlier. The fact that the dominant stuff in the universe, the dominant energy in the universe resides in empty space. If you take a bit of space and get rid of everything, all the particles, radiation, everything, that empty space weighs something. And we don't understand why. We don't understand why nothing weighs something. The biggest mystery.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Did that blow your mind at all?
Yeah. So it's kind of like, are you talking about like dark matter?
No, dark matter is exotic, but not as exotic as this. Dark matter is exotic. Type of elementary particle. Dark matter is going through your body right now, we think, and mine and the Earth. But dark energy is really not related to particles at all. It says empty space has energy, and the dominant energy of the universe lies nothing, no particle, just empty space. And we don't know why empty space has energy. It's the biggest mystery in science. And it's responsible for the expansion of the current universe. The expansion of the current universe, the universe is expanding faster and faster and faster. It's not slowing down. It's speeding up. That was one of the biggest surprises when it was discovered. The reason it led to the Nobel Prize is that the discovery that the expansion of the universe is speeding up. And that means, by the way, that the future is miserable, in case you're wondering. The longer we wait, the less we'll see of the universe. Eventually, everything we can now see almost in the universe will disappear. It'll take a few million years, so we don't have to worry about it.
So you have time to like live a life and die.
Now, why am I hearing so much
Do you think we have
noise?
any idea what's going on?
We have a little bit of an idea what's going on.
Do you think we have?
There's probably a lot more we don't know.
Fair. Yeah, no, I think it's just like. Yeah, I have no idea how you even started. I mean, I watched a lot of your talks and stuff, and you're on point and stuff. But it's just like I have no idea what's even like. It's just like such a there's just so much going on there. I feel like that I have no idea what's happening.
But there's lots of
Like,
things. My book is about 5 things of frontiers of science: time, space, matter, life, consciousness. And in each area, there are.
Your feedback is really bad. I can barely hear.
I can't hear. I don't know where the noise is coming from. It's not coming from me.
I don't know. I think maybe your phone or you don't have service, but it's like a static feedback.
I think Anthony's breathing into his microphone, with my opinion. But
fucking mouth breather. Stop breathing so fucking
I'll
loud.
just stop breathing. Yeah, I'll stop breathing for the next 50 minutes. So for you guys, for the people watching at home, I'll stop breathing for 50 minutes. I just Mike's awful, and I'm in the middle of the woods, so it's just like it's like I was literally playing my wife.
Maybe when you're not talking, you could mute your mic.
Maybe I don't know. So I could barely even hear out of I could barely even hear either. So it's like I'm just straight facing.
Oh, it's okay. Nikki and I can talk, and you can listen.
So, okay, back to the thing. Do you feel like that, in a way, science explains, like, God or, like, or I don't really like to use that word, but, like, more like just some other energy that's out there that is, like, the nothing of the internet of the fucking fabric of reality or something?
No. In fact, one of the things you didn't mention about me, I guess, in the introduction is that I'm kind of I suppose, a well-known atheist. I think science is generally incompatible with all the world's religions. There's no evidence. Let me just say there's no evidence. My book, A Universe from Nothing, shows in principle how you could create a universe without any supernatural shenanigans. So God is kind of redundant and unnecessary. That doesn't mean we can prove God doesn't exist. Can, but there doesn't seem to be any need for a God. So it seems to be one presumption that's a little unnecessary. So we don't need it because we'll just not consider it. In fact, I'm not really an atheist. I'm what I like to call an apatheist. I really don't give a hoot about God.
Nihilist?
Apatheist, because God is irrelevant.
It is fucking weird.
Now,
Okay,
boy,
we'll
that breathing is really, that breathing is, or something. That noise is really getting.
I think I'm blowing this smoke out. I think I'm blowing the smoke at the microphone now that I think about it. But no, yeah, more heaven for me. You know, like I hope, you know, I feel every time there's like an atheist, I'm kind of like, I guess more room in heaven for your boy, you know. So I feel like I just feel like most people are not Christian anymore. This whole world's like that, you know. It's like most people are just like probably going to hell, you know. So it's like,
well, yeah,
it's kind of interesting to see, you know.
It's like I personally don't believe that there's heaven or hell. I think that we transcend to another dimension, a higher dimension.
Why do you believe that?
In a sense, maybe heaven, because we're released from being in a third dimension where like we feel things differently and things are more difficult.
Why don't you just think it ends? I mean, let me ask you this. Why do you believe all this stuff? Why don't you just think it ends when you die? Like, for example, before you were born, what was it like before you were born?
I can communicate with spirits on the other side, so I know that there's...
Yeah, I know.
I believe that there is, like, still a fragment of us that exists, like, in another dimension.
Yeah, I know they believe that. I guess I'm kind of skeptical that you actually communicate with spirits from the other side. I've never seen any evidence of it. I know you might believe it, and you might even hear voices for all I know. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're people want to believe. I mean, we all want to believe there's a lot more out there than we can see, and there is a lot more out there than we can see. But what I like to say is the real universe is so amazing that you don't need all the extra stuff. And so there's no evidence for any beings in any extra dimensions. All there is evidence that we are born, we live, and we die. And when someone asked me, I'm not the first person to say this, but a well-known person said, when you asked what it was like after you die, he said, well, what was it like before you were born? I remember how you felt before you were born. Well, that's the way it is after dying. It's not very exciting.
I have memories from past lives.
Yeah, well,
I have memories from past lives, so I know that I've lived past lives. So I know that
I hate to be the bearer. I hate to do this because I didn't want to spend time doing this. But how do you know their past lives? How do you know they're not just something you think is a past life?
Because, like, I can feel that it's me. Like, sometimes I'll get visions about other people, and like, I can tell that it's about someone else, but sometimes I'll have these memories where it feels really familiar. It's like the feeling I get in the vision that I'm having is like, it feels so familiar. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it feels like a memory.
Well, I know I've had deja vu before where I feel like I've been in a place before, but we now understand that's probably due to a nerve impulse making a loop in your spine and coming back twice. Yeah. So the key question is we have to be skeptical.
There's science that backs up and explains everything, right? But I also think there's a level of quantum physics that explains more of an energy, like that, like energy cannot be destroyed. Like, so then what happens to it? Like, how can you say that if it doesn't go anywhere, if it can't be destroyed, then like, where does it go?
Well, as far as we can tell, believe it or not, the total energy of the universe is precisely zero. That's another thing that very much. It's amazing because gravity allows positive energy states and negative energy states. And if you add it all up, it's quite possible that the total in fact, it looks like the total energy of the universe is precisely zero, which is why it can come from nothing, because its energy is zero. And so, there's no when we die, we're taking in energy from the sun and food and nutrition. Yeah. We have a metabolism and we're burning energy and we're emitting heat. And when you die, it's just like turning off your computer. It just stops using energy and it stops dissipating energy. And as far as we can tell, that's just the way it is. And it's not as well. That may be less fun than having extra lives and a past lives and extra dimensions. But on the other hand, as I say, the real universe, aside from that, is so fascinating that it makes up for that kind of little bit depressing fact that you're just here for a brief moment. And that, by the way, makes your life more precious, Because if you don't have many lives, if you're just here for a short span, then it makes every instant of your life even more precious, and you should try and enjoy every moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's why I think that, like, in esoteric knowledge, like, there are only certain people who can handle knowing certain truths about the universe. And I feel like if the wrong people know the wrong thing, then it makes them feel like life's not worth living anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
does, and that's why I try and indicate to people that it may sound depressing, but it actually means that you make your own meaning, and you should try every day to not only enjoy the amazing and awe-inspiring universe we live in, but to make every moment precious. And so, for me, the fact that there doesn't appear to be any eternal life or any life beyond death doesn't depress me. It makes me more excited to be able to spend every moment,
and be in the moment,
doing my work or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I like that. I am a science nerd, but like I'm also very spiritual, and like I don't try to like make anyone believe that what I'm experiencing is real. Like it's just my personal perspective of what I've experienced, and like that's all that I know. And that's where I'm coming from, is like I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Sometimes I still can't even believe some of the things that happen to me are even really happening to me. But like, it'll happen so consistently. Like, I'll be hanging out with someone like, I'll start feeling the energy of a spirit. It'll start telling me like they're their aunt. They'll tell me their name, and I'll ask the person, "Do you know someone by this name?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, that's my aunt." And like that's happened so many times where it's like, where am I getting the information from? How am I coming up with some fucking person's name? Or weird things like I'll just be able to predict what's going on with someone. Like I do tarot, and like every time that I do a reading for somebody, like a lot of times I won't even know the person, and I'll be able to tell them everything that's going on in their life, like where they're at now, like how their mother or dad is treating them, like weird shit that I don't even know this person. And they'll be like, "That is crazy that you said that." And I don't fucking know why.
Look,
I feel like it helps people, and like some people don't believe it and it's not for them, and that's okay. I don't push my beliefs on anybody. Everyone has the right to their own opinion, and that's what makes this world beautiful, is the duality of different opinions, different perspectives of reality, and shining light on different aspects of what is everyone's personal truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I kind of feel the same in many, many ways. In fact, regarding not knowing about what happens, the first sentence of my new book says the three most important words in science are "I don't know," and it's probably the three most important words anyone should use, because it's an invitation to try and explore. And so I can't explain why you think that these voices are telling you things, or why apparently they give you right answers. I will say, however, let me give you an argument from one of my favorite physicists, a guy named Richard Feynman, who you would have loved if he was still alive. Believe me, you would have loved him. He was very charismatic, among other things. And he said, "Well, look, the problem is everything that happens to us seems special. So let's say you have, a dream one night that a friend of yours is going to break their arm, and the next day you wake up and your friend calls and they've broken their leg. Let's say, you say, cosmic! I had this premonition. But what you don't remember is the 5,000 dreams that you had that were nonsense, that didn't relate to anything that really happened. And so accidents happen, and sometimes strange coincidences happen, and we all attribute significance to those coincidences, even when sometimes they're just coincidences. So who am I to say? I'm not in your head, and I'm not there, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to say, based on what I know about the universe, and based on the evidences of things I have explored, I find it unlikely that that's actually happening. That isn't just an accident or your perception of what's happening. But I'm not there, and and I'm not in your head, as I say, and and so, but in science, we kind of don't say things are, let's say, true or false. We say that's likely or unlikely, and we say how likely or unlikely it is. And based on the kind of things I've studied, I'd say it's very unlikely. But you could try and convince me otherwise. I'm easily. Anyway, I could listen.
That's cool. I mean, I respect your opinion.
And well, okay, thank you. And I'll try and I'm respecting what you believe you've experienced. You're also a comedian. It's an interesting combination of
Yeah, so I do comedy.
careers that you have.
Most of my jokes are about being in the porn industry and just, funny things that go along with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting combination. Three interesting, quite different activities.
I don't know. Like, I honestly, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, well, see, as long as you enjoy what you do, as long as you enjoy what you do, and other people do, and you feel you're not hurting people, and you're making people's lives better, all power to you.
It's kind of like if you believe in the placebo effect.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's been scientifically proven.
Apparently are great. Yeah, placebos are fantastic. Often as good as medicine.
It's almost kind of, but that's the crazy thing about reality that fascinates me so much is how malleable it is based on our own perception of like what's going on, like how we can actually change what we're perceiving, even if reality doesn't change. But it completely changes our perspective, what we're focusing on, what our intention is, like what it is we choose to surround ourselves with, the people we choose to surround ourselves with, and how malleable, like you can really create your own reality and manifest. Like I've been learning a lot about manifesting, which is really, I mean, obviously I'm sure you know what that means, but like just focusing your energy and learning how to put out an energetic, like pulse into the universe to start drawing that energy back to you with the law of attraction. And like
the law of attraction, let me say, I've studied it in great detail, and I hate to say this to you, but it's complete nonsense. On the other hand, giving positive energy to people, and motivating them and exciting them is a great thing. So you can do that by giving lots of personal energy. As you point out, people's perception of reality is for them reality. And so the way you can enhance people's perception of the world is great. But the law of attraction, which is based on a complete misunderstanding of quantum mechanics, is unfortunately
really.
Yeah, I hate to tell you that.
Well, even if it is like on some level a placebo effect, like I believe that I'm going to attract this into my life, and then you do, who's to say that it's not working? That's the trick. So then is it placebo, or like is the placebo what's creating it into reality?
I suspect it gives I mean, look, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but here's my suspicion. Let me put it that way. That when you do that, you project an air of confidence that's attractive. I mean, not attractive in a physical sense, but that confident people are attracted to confident people.
Right.
And so that confidence often can lead to positive interactions with others, and so it's projecting confidence more than projecting any kind of weird physical reality. So that could be an explanation of why the sense that you're being attractive in that way that they write about, that gives you a sense of, you can go into the world and say, you feel more confident, you feel like you're empowered. And and on the whole, that's a very attractive thing about people, right? Confident people generally are attractive to other people.
Yeah, because they know what they want, and they get it, or they believe that they deserve it. Because on some level, if we don't really believe, that's another thing that I learned as far as just I kind of had to transform my life a little bit because I was in a really bad place. But like something else I learned was like, if you don't believe you deserve the thing you want, then you're never going to get it, because your subconscious is always going to cheat you out of, on a subconscious level, you'll self-sabotage it, or, you know what I mean? And I caught myself doing that.
Oh, well, that's good you got out of that. On the other hand, as the Rolling Stones once said, you don't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes.
Yes, true that.
I'm not going to sing it, though.
Dang it.
You wouldn't want me to, believe me. I see. So it's just you and I. Anthony's left this whole show. It seems. I know. I don't exactly know. Well, I'm here.
Back. You did. That was some pretty bad service. That was.
Yeah. So do you host the show? Do you host his show together all the time? Is I don't.
No, this is the first time I've been on his show.
Oh, okay.
I tried a little while back, and then I mixed the time zone thing up, and I totally missed it.
Okay. So he's not in. Well, he's in Central Time, and you're in Pacific Time.
Yeah. Where are you at right now?
And I'm in a very, very different time than either of you, but that's okay.
Where?
I'm on the east coast of Canada, which is 4 hours later than me.
How's the weather over there?
So I'm halfway between where you are and England, put it that way. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm there. And somewhat early there. In fact, well, I don't even know if the sun is set there, but maybe it has. Does the sun set where you are?
Does it set?
No, has it set?
Oh, I'm like, because no, it hasn't.
Yeah, you see here it's been set for years, hours and hours. Anyway, that's okay. But on the other hand, we don't have, we're not having wildfires here or heat,
oh, thank God,
or tropical storms or droughts or heat. So it's okay. We are in this little corner of the empty of sort of this refuge away from the rest of the world where I live. So it's nice.
That's bitchin'. I used to live in Seattle, Washington, and I just loved like being in forest, like just super rural. Like it's just so beautiful. Like especially in the summertime when it's not raining all fucking day. Like it's like so.
Yeah, I lived in Portland, Oregon before we lived here, and we it's all around our house and streams. Yeah, it doesn't rain as much in Portland as it does in Seattle. So
yeah.
A little more sunlight, but it rains a lot. But here we happily don't have that much rain, but we do get snow, which you don't get in Seattle.
That's awesome. Yeah, I miss snow. Do you have any like animals or like land with like?
I have lots of land. I have 4 acres. If it wasn't dark and you could see it out there, and I'm on a river and there's a boat and we have little red foxes that go by and
oh, that's so cute.
And bald eagles that fly across here every day. Although I watch out for the bald eagles and the foxes because I have 2 little dogs. But anyway, but then I have kayaks right here, and I go out kayaking. And
oh my God, that's so cool! Damn, that's so cool.
It's lovely to be away. Are you from the West Coast? Is that where you're from?
Yeah, I'm originally from Pasadena. Actually, most of my family lives out in Pasadena, but I lived in Washington for part of my childhood, and then moved back.
You moved back, and your family's there. That's nice. Well,
yeah,
I lived in Pasadena a fair amount. I used to lecture at Caltech, and that's where Feynman.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I live right.
Where Feynman used to be. He would have, as I say, he was quite a remarkable human being and physicist. And
yeah, some of the smartest people are in Pasadena because of all the.
There's a lot of
colleges here
who still teach at Caltech. There are a lot of smart people at Caltech, indeed.
Yeah,
it's a small place. It's quite remarkable, and the air quality is much better. I'm much older than you. When I was younger, the air quality was in Pasadena.
Oh yeah, it's trash here. It's trash.
I'm so old. I can remember before there were cars. No, that's not true. I'm not that old. But anyway, you're the one supposed to be making jokes, but I'm just going by.
Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, so that's good. And as I say, I might as well promote it. We'll be doing an event in Orange County, which is not Pasadena, but October 15th down at a museum down in Orange County.
Yeah.
Look at by looking at my website. So I'll be out there and I'll wave on October 15th, and then one down in San Diego on the 17th, and up in Vancouver on the 13th. So up closer to where you used to be from.
Nice.
So on the 15th I'll be talking about my new book, and then I'll be having a dialogue with a physicist down in San Diego called Brian Keating on the 17th. So anyway,
a little bit more about your new book. Tell me a little bit more about your new book.
Well, let's see. Here, I think I have a copy. Here it is. It's called, in the U.S., it's called The Edge of Knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Unsolved Mysteries of the Cosmos. And it's about what we know we don't know about the universe.
Okay.
And in fact, in England, my book is called The Known Unknowns, which, again, Well, you're so young, you might not remember Donald Rumsfeld, but he was famous during the administration of George W. Bush and the invasion of Iraq, and he said he wasn't someone I was a big fan of, but he actually gave a quote which is very interesting. He said there are things there are things we know, okay, and then there are things we know we don't know.
Right.
And those are the known unknowns. And then there are the unknown unknowns, the things we don't know we don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And that was very smart. Now, it's very true. In fact, as a scientist, the most interesting thing to me are the unknown unknowns, the things we don't know we don't know. But I couldn't ever, it would be a very short book if I wrote about the unknown unknowns, because I don't know. So, right. But the known unknowns is tremendous. The point is that I wanted to bring people up to the forefront of our understanding of the universe. And that always leads to the questions of things we don't understand, like how did we originate? Are we alone in the universe? Lots of questions. Will we ever create artificial consciousness? What is time? Can you go backwards in time? Can we have time machines? So those are the kind of things I talk about in the book, and it's kind of fun and hopefully interesting. And I like this book a lot. This was my 12th book, and it's sort of a sequel to my book, A Universe of Nothing. And so what I like about it is that each chapter is very different, so you can jump through, and it goes, from physics to biology to neuroscience, and anyway, and it's short. The science book should be short, in my opinion, because biographies should be long, but people are intimidated by science. So it's better to have short books. So I always try to make my science books as short as they can be, but no shorter.
Yeah.
They have to be short. They have to be long enough to actually explain what I'm talking about.
Right.
When I talk about time, time travel and whether it's possible and not. And
what do you think?
Dimensions, by the way, and other universes and whether they're not possible or not. And
do you think time travel is possible?
The amazing thing is we can't prove it's impossible.
Okay, that's enough of an answer for me.
On the other hand, there are lots of arguments why it's probably highly unlikely. One of the biggest is the paradox that comes from time travel, called the grandmother paradox. What happens if you go back in time and kill your grandmother before your mother was born? Okay. But then if you kill your grandmother before your mother was born, then your mother would never be born. But if your mother was never born, then you'd never be born.
So then it's like, would you have even been able to do it?
How did you go back in time and kill them if you never existed? So it's those kind of paradoxes. When I wrote about this in one of my early books called The Physics of Star Trek. And Stephen, have you ever heard of Stephen Hawking?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, most people have. Well, Stephen wrote the foreword for that book for me, and he used to argue that time travel was impossible, and he gave his argument was quite good. He said if time travel was possible, we'd already be inundated by tourists from the future. Right? Once to a party where he went to a party where he invited people from the future to come, and no one came, and he said, "See," but I countered. I countered him by saying,
"Show up to the fucking party."
Yeah.
Damn it!
I countered him by saying that they all went back to the 1960s and no one noticed. So there you go. So.
But what if only certain people could use it? They were in the government, and you couldn't blow your cover that you were from another time.
Except you know what? It's like Back to the Future, which I'm sure you've seen. If you could go forward in time just a day, really, you'd be far richer than Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Because all you need to do is, even if you go to the stock market and look for things that increase their price by 2%, and you compound that or double, 2 squared to the 4th to the 6th. After 10 or 20 days, you're richer than maybe 100 days. You're richer than anyone in the world. So the fact that there's so few multi-billionaires is, again, proof of the fact that time travel isn't so easy.
Yeah, true. Okay, so how do you feel about like the government coming out and saying that there's aliens?
Well,
do you believe that,
they
or
did.
what are your thoughts on that?
Some people claimed when talking to the Congress that there were UFOs and there were aliens, and the answer is no one has ever found one. No one has ever demonstrated there are any. No one has ever demonstrated that the unidentified aerial
What
objects.
about all those documents that they published about?
And in fact, as Richard Feynman. Oh, actually, by the way, when I was probably your age, I'll show you this because I don't. This is Richard. That was when I was a little old, maybe a little younger than you are now, many years ago. But Richard, that's Richard there. Richard Feynman. He won the Nobel Prize in Physics, and he was at Caltech. But as he once said, he thinks that he said it's much more likely that UFOs are due to the known irrationality of humans rather than the unknown rationality of aliens. Namely,
what about all the documents that the government like?
I don't have any documents. People say talk is cheap. Ask for one bit of evidence, one concrete bit of evidence that there's ever been an alien, and the answer is zero. Nada. Bupkis. Whatever you.
They released all those documents, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I could
documents." They say, "Oh, I've seen documents." Oh, well, that's great. I've seen pink elephants flying too. But that doesn't mean it happened. And so, unfortunately, people want of course, like Fox Mulder said on the X-Files, I want to believe. People want to believe that there's aliens. But if you actually think the laws of physics, the difficulty of traveling between one star system and another is so extreme, and the amount of energy required, as I like to say, it would take more energy right now than there is mass in our galaxy to take a space trip.
Going through like black holes or something. But okay, with all the star systems in the universe, you don't think that there's one other?
Oh! I didn't say there were. No. I think there's quite likely there's life elsewhere in the universe. It's just not coming here to kidnap people and do weird sexual.
They took one tour and they were like, "We're getting the fuck out of here, bro!" Like, fuck, these people are crazy.
It's a long way to go, and it's a hard way to go. It would take more energy than you have to harness the power output of an entire star to power.
Right. That's what I was actually learning about.
Why would you do that to come all the way here and abduct psychiatric patients of some Harvard psychiatrist and do kinky experiments on them? It's just an awful waste of time.
Maybe they got really bored and tired of all the fucking people on their side of the universe. They're like, our side of the universe fucking sucks.
Yeah, but it's not collecting. It's much more likely that a highly advanced civilization would have no interest in us. Right? It's like, oh, gee, there's an ant colony. It's like saying there's an ant colony in the Sahara. I've got to go see it. Well, it's not interesting. It's just not. Well, I'm glad you're.
Okay, but what if they were like millions of years ahead of us? Like, okay, isn't the universe like billions of years old?
It's 13.8 billion years old. Give or take a little bit.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm still on. I hope I'm still on. You there?
Sorry, someone. My bad.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure you're in great demand. So anyway, that aside, the universe is 13.8 billion years old, and so there can be civilizations that might be more advanced than us, and that's fine if they survive. Right now, looking at what's happening on our planet, it's not clear that industrial civilizations survive very long. But assuming they survive, why would they be? First of all, we're out in the middle of nowhere, and how would they even know we exist? Right, first, because we've only been emitting radio signals that demonstrate intelligent life on Earth for, say, 100 years-ish, about, give or take. And that means any planet more than 100 light years away has never even received a signal from the Earth that suggests there's any intelligent life on the Earth, right? So already that limits the amount of the galaxy that would possibly know that we're here. And that's when you think about the details, and again, I actually wrote a lot of this down in one of my books. Beyond Star Trek. It's just very implausible. And also, if you're sufficiently advanced, as I say, you might just prefer to stay at home because you're not going to learn anything from us. and so why bother to?
I also think sometimes I think that we might be like some sort of social experiment, or like when I learn about, I'm always interested in learning about ancient civilizations, and like I love history, and like there's all these different like synchronicities with like that, you know, ancient aliens. I don't know if you probably don't really believe in that, but the ancient aliens, where there's all these things pointing to like, okay, well, how did our technology jumped so dramatically, or how did we figure out how to put the pyramids right under these stars, and all these weird things are like, okay,
pyramids,
there was some influence by some other more intelligent beings or something.
Well,
So maybe they've been around watching. Maybe they're just watching us and they don't want to know us to know.
If the Egyptians really could do things with the technology that we can't do, then they might have invented radio or TV or the internet or airplanes or internal combustion engines. It's, you know, I've been in the pyramids. I've actually been inside the Great Pyramid of Giza at midnight alone. Which
what was that like?
It was fascinating. It was awe-inspiring. I didn't get any weird vibes, and no one talked to me from any other dimensions.
Damn it!
but it was interesting. But it's remarkable what civilization can do if it has a large number of slaves and a lot of time and money. And so they're amazing things. But to claim that they require external, you know, alien, you know, it's not. There's no evidence that that's required. People like to think it, and I understand why people want to think it. It makes it very exciting, but there's just when you think about it carefully, there's no need for that. I hate to constantly have to poo-poo all these lovely things that you want to believe.
Sometimes I want to be beautiful and magical and fucking, you know.
Laugh, so I suppose that's a good thing. I'm wondering, you know, it's late for me. I'm wondering whether we should call this a day.
That's okay.
Yeah,
we've done 40 minutes. We had a good conversation, I believe.
Oh, I enjoyed it, and I hope to see you when I'm out in California.
Okay.
And good luck in your shows and your.
Thank you. You too.
And it was.
I'm gonna check your book out because it sounds really interesting.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for saving the day because Anthony buzzed off. So it was thank you for being here and making this so much fun.
It was a pleasure.
Same here.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.